Hey guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Joseph, and in today's video we're just going to have like a simple conversation about this beauty photo shoot that I did. It was the first time shooting Maria and she did amazing, and I just wanted to do this talking here just to go over the lighting setup and the camera gear that I used for the shoot, and then we'll jump into the b-roll. And if you do love the video, if you enjoy it, I know it's going to be quick and brief, but if you like videos like this also, let me know in the comments down below. And if you get value out of it, leave a like, it supports the channel. And let's jump right into it. So yeah, Maria came into the studio and I decided to do some test shoots with her. So the first one was beauty photo shoot, and I used two modifiers for this. So the first one was me using the beauty dish, and I love the beauty dish. If you've been following the channel and following me for a very long time, you know that I love the quality that comes out of my beauty dish. The size is just pretty moderate, and it gives me that contrast and still that softness that I like in my beauty portraits. But we didn't just keep it there. Even though we did that beauty show with a beauty dish, I still swapped it out and put a cone on there because I wanted to try out a harsh light. I liked the way her hair looked, and I felt, just adding some shadows, adding that pop or specularity that the harsh light gives you will just give this image a new dynamic, and I really loved it. I shot both images against my skin tone backdrop. It's a very narrow backdrop, and I think it really worked well with what we were getting. And for my camera settings, I decided to shoot at f16, and my shutter speed was on 1/125, and my ISO was also 125. So I kept those, and then I just cranked my aperture all the way to f16 just to get a lot of detail in the shots. If you haven't seen my dedicated video on how to get sharp beauty portraits, I'm going to link it somewhere here. You can check it out. But that's what I used for this. So the lighting, position, distance, everything stayed the same. So using the beauty dish, for example, was coming in from top down onto Maria at a 45-degree angle. It's something that I typically do all the time because it gives me that most natural looking lighting. All these lighting that we're doing is mimicking the sunlight, and the sun is all the way up in the sky. So if you're recreating or trying to reintroduce light into your scene artificially, I feel the more natural way to do it is also to raise it up and then angle it down onto your subject. So I did that with the beauty dish, but I didn't end it there. I also added a reflector underneath, and what this does is, because the light is coming in from the top, it's going to bounce on that reflector surface and then come back up to lift up any shadows that are present in your image. And also, if you vary the height of the reflector, you can also vary the intensity of that reflected light. So for example, if the reflector goes a lot lower, it's not going to bounce a lot of light back, and so you keep some depth or some shadows, but it's not going to be as dark as if there was no reflector. Again, if you bring the reflector all the way up down here, you're going to be bouncing a lot of light back onto your subject, and so you may eliminate the shadows completely depending on your camera settings, or you will still just have that glow that the reflector tends to give a lot. I also kept the reflector there even though I switched the modifier from the beauty dish to the cone, because I knew that a little bit of that is still going to spill on there and open up the shadows. I didn't want it to be too contrasty, because when you're using such a small light source, it's going to be harsh and specular, but because it's also focused, it is going to create a lot of deep dark shadows, and just putting the reflector underneath opening that a lot. And I think I like the way that the lighting from that harsh light looked on Maria. It just gave it some specularity, and also just gave it like a glam feel, especially with the shining her hair. It was so amazing. So yes, I shot with my Canon R5, and I also shot with this old 100mm macro lens. It's actually the only macro lens that I have ever owned. So I don't know if I am missing out on detail or sharpness, or it's an old glass, so I don't know if I'm missing out on anything. So maybe I will find out if I can get an L lens, like a Canon L lens or even an RF, and test it out and see if this lens has now done its job, lived its life, and probably should be packed onto the shelf somewhere, or if it's still holding up and if I should still maintain it. I now shoot with this sparingly because I love my 24-70, and because it's a 45 megapixel camera, even if I'm shooting at 70mm, I still have a lot of detail that I can crop into, recompose my images without really losing a lot of details. So these are like a few things I'm yet to experiment with, and yeah, see how the photo shoot happens, see some of the images. I'll catch you guys in the next video, and remember, don't ever give up.